Hi guys, today I'm going to be showing you a new to me indie brand, and I gotta be honest, when I posted a picture of this palette on Instagram, I don't think I've gotten as much engagement on a photo ever. And I don't really get a lot of comments on my pictures. Like, my Instagram is not a platform where I feel like, I thrive. I don't know. I just feel like people don't really care about the photos that I post, but I post them anyway, you know? But when I posted and asked if people wanted to see a review on this, I got so many people saying yes. Literally every single person who commented was like, yes, please, I would like a review. And this is even a old, I say old in quotation marks because this is probably like 2 months old or something like that palette. I saw a picture of this on my feed and I was like, wow, that is a really pretty palette. So I ordered it on like a pre-order because I think it already launched and sold out. And I really wasn't even going to do a video on this because like nobody knows about this brand and it's like old and like I just didn't think people would care. But here we are. So we're going to be trying the Kaima Cosmetics Skulls and Roses palette. Now, this is very much a neutral, like a special neutral palette is how I would explain this as. And I think it is absolutely stunning. Like the array of different tones in here and different textures and just, oh my god, it's so beautiful. And there are so many things you can do with this. And I'm going to show you 3 looks today. I've already done 2. I have a lot of thoughts about this palette, and there are a couple of shades in here that I want to test out. The one thing that I noticed when I swatched this palette is, like I was saying, there's a lot of very different textures in this. So there are very, very flaky shades, like this shade and this shade are both quite flaky. If you don't like that flaky kind of, how would I explain it? It's almost like a flaky putty formula. It can be a little bit tough to work with, and sometimes shades like that will crease really badly on me. I somehow haven't had that experience with this palette, so just wanted to mention that. There are also a couple of multi-chromes in here. This is a multi-chrome. Let's see, I think this one, this one, this one, this one. There's a lot of multi-chromes in this palette. There are a couple of like satiny shades. These are like blacks with glitters in them. This is more of a holographic black, leaning more gray. This one has a little bit more warmth to it. You have some beautiful mattes in here, and there's just a lot going on. Like, there's a lot going on, let's just put it that way. The mattes didn't swatch the best for me, but I haven't had any problems using them on my eyes. So what I want to do today is I really want to use the red. I haven't used that one yet. I'm thinking maybe this one and this one as well. Just do like a very dramatic kind of red and black crease. I think that could be kind of fun. And then play with 1 or 2 of the shimmers on the lid. Can't remember exactly which ones I've used and which ones I haven't. I don't think I've used this shade. So we're just gonna go ahead and have some fun with this and test it out and see where I end up, honestly. And I'm excited that I picked up this palette. It's always really fun to discover new indie brands. And I feel like there hasn't been that many new ones that have popped up lately. It could also be because I'm not really into TikTok. I did make a TikTok account and I've been posting a little bit on it lately. So I will put that on the screen if you want to give it a follow. But I don't really watch a lot of TikTok, if that makes sense. So I don't know if there have been brands on there that have popped up that I am just unfamiliar with. If there are any brands that you guys have seen that you want me to review, let me know and I will look into them. Because I'm sure there are so many brands out there that I just don't even know exist. And it's just really fun to discover new brands. So I think, like I said, what I wanted to do is I'm going to start with the red shade here, which is the shade called Roses. This palette is definitely quite messy. Like when I swatched it, there were powders and stuff everywhere, which doesn't really annoy me that much. Oh my god, my Rephr brush literally just broke. Like that's a first. I'm sure I've had this, wow, for a very long time. I could probably just glue this back on. I'm baffled right now. Like, that's crazy. It should be okay to just glue that though. Put that to the side. Wow, I can't believe that just happened. Anyway, I'm gonna take another one of my Rephr brushes because I love them. And this picks up beautifully, which I'm kind of surprised by because this is the shade that probably swatched the worst, I would say, out of this whole palette. And it felt very, very dry. So I'm just going to go ahead and put that into my crease. This brush might be a little too big for what I'm looking for, but that's okay. I don't really care if I get this on my lid where it's not supposed to be because I am going to be covering it with shimmers. So first impression, it's definitely more of a pink on the eyes than it is in the pan, which a lot of reds are like that. And also my eyeshadow primer does lean a little bit on the pink side, so that could also have something to do with it. It is going on nicely though. I don't really have any complaints with the way that this is applying. And I think once I get the other shades on my eyes, it's going to start leaning a little bit more red and dramatic again, because that is what I'm looking for with this. I definitely picked a brush that was a little too big for this color, because this color is a lot, and I maybe should have been a little more careful with where I'm placing it, but I think it'll be okay. I think it's gonna be fine. So I'm just gonna leave that here. I know it's very much every time I do my makeup, I feel like it's like, trust the process. Like, it looks crazy, but it's gonna come together. Like, don't worry. So I'm gonna take a smaller brush because I feel like that is very necessary. I'm gonna take this one from Sigma. It's the E42. It's like a precision blending brush. And I'm gonna dip that into the shade Enamor. I really want to see how well these shades build, and I haven't really built on them too much. I think I've used the shade already though, but I just feel like these are gonna, ooh, that's very dark. Like, that is actually darker than I remember it being. That's almost like a black. That's crazy dark. And I don't really mind that, but I'm gonna take that in the outer corner of my eye. I'm also gonna blend it into my crease, probably about 2/3 of the way in, and we're just gonna see how these two colors play together, if they blend well, if they layer well. So far, I think we're gonna be having a decent time with this. I'm not having any issues with patchiness, and they're blending pretty nicely together. So I'm just gonna take my time with this. I mean, I think this is looking pretty good. I do need to blend a little bit in the front here, but I just want to kind of put down the shadows that I want to use and see where we end up. I think I'm going to take this same shade under my eye as well and just connect the outer corner. I don't think I want to have a ton of shadow under my eye today. I'm not feeling a super blown out look, but I just want to make sure that this is looking good all the way around, and I can also just perfect the outer corner a little bit, but I think that's looking really nice. I like where this is going, and I think with the shimmer on the lid, this is gonna look so cool. And if you're wondering about my hair, because obviously my hair is not this long, this is like a braided ponytail that I got from INH. Now the problem with this is that it doesn't come braided. It comes with like 3 different separate strands of hair that you have to like braid into your own hair. And me thinking that I would be able to easily do that because I have so much experience with the INH ponies, boy was I wrong, because it took a very long time to get this on and it still looks crazy in the back. But hey, whatever happens to the back is not my problem, and I don't plan on going anywhere today, so we're just gonna roll with it. But it's like super cute and it's so long, and I tied a ribbon around it, and I thought the ribbon that I had would be long enough to like go all the way down, and it was not. So I kind of stopped like halfway down, but I think it looks really cute still from the front. I think what I need to do next time is not put my pony up as high and do it sort of like in the lower end, because then I have more hair to like braid into the braids and it might be a little bit easier. Like, I was literally standing like leaning over and then braiding it as I'm like looking down like this, and it was a mess. Like, it crazy how I need to look at like a tutorial or something on how to do that, because certainly not as easy as they make it look on their Instagram and on their website. But I think with some practice I can make it work. I think it is so cute. I love it. I love it so much, but I need to figure out a proper way to like actually apply it and install it, because it's not that easy. I'm just gonna wipe off that brush that I used the red with and just kind of get a little bit of a better blend with this in the front here, and just go over the edges of all of this to make sure it's nice and blended. I still can't believe my Rephr brush broke. But to be fair, it's like one of the brushes I use every single day and it gets so much wear. So like, I'm not surprised that's one of the ones that decided to go first, because I've used my Rephr brushes to death. And when I say to death, literally it just died. It's still just funny to me that that happened. But I should be able to fix it just by gluing it together, which is fine. And they actually sent me a new package of like a bunch of their new brushes, and they've come out with synthetic foundation and concealer brushes, and I haven't tried them yet, and I keep forgetting because I still have them in the package, but I need to try them, and they look really good. They feel exactly like their natural hair brushes, which is kind of weird, but they're synthetic. And I wonder if this means that they're going to come out with a full range of synthetic brushes. I know so many people would be happy about that because they don't like using natural hair brushes, which I totally get that. So I think that would be a good next step for Rephr to make. I'm going to put on some glitter primer, and then we'll do probably a couple of these shimmers. And I do have an affiliated link with Rephr. If anybody wants to like get a discount on the brushes, you can use my link. I really wish I had codes. That's why I never really like mention anything with Rephr, because it's like, oh, go use my link if you want to get it. Like, who is gonna go in my description box and like use a link? I know some of you have, and I really appreciate you guys for doing that. It's really nice when I don't have to like, you know, mention shit all the time and people still use the links, but I don't want to be pushing a link. It's so much easier to be like, okay, my code is just an, you know, but if it's like, oh yeah, you gotta go through this link and do this and this and this, like they would get so many more people talking about them. I feel like if they just had codes, like I just don't understand, like you're way behind the times. So I think what I want to do is I want to take some of this shade. I might have used that already. I don't know, I can't remember what I've used and what I haven't used. I really want to use this. Let's start with this shade. The one thing I feel like is lacking in this palette is like an inner corner shade, which is fine. I mean, I can use whatever I have in my collection already, so it's not a huge deal. But I do wish that there was maybe like an iridescent shimmer in this palette. I think that would be such a good addition, but look at how shiny that is. Like this is one of the easier chunky shimmers, I would say, to apply. This one is going on a little bit smoother than some of the other ones. I love how that looks. I really hope this look doesn't end up being similar to one of the other two that I've done, because I honestly don't remember. And I feel like since this palette is so different in the mattes, like there really is a lot you can do, and the looks shouldn't end up being too similar if you're like going in different directions with the mattes. But like I said, I don't remember what I've done, so I apologize if some of the looks maybe end up a little bit similar, but I don't think I've used the red in my crease, so it can't be that similar. That looks so pretty. I love that. Okay, I am gonna take some of one of these black shimmers. I don't think I've used this one. I'm pretty sure I used this one a little bit in my first look. It might have been this one. But I'm gonna try some of this. This one felt almost more like a cream to matte. It didn't feel, I don't know, it just felt a little bit on the like waxy side. I don't know if that makes sense, but it's definitely a shimmer. So I'm gonna put that, ooh, that is applying nicely. That is really, really pretty. Oh, I like that. I'm not usually someone who loves very dark shimmers. Oh, this would make for such a nice smoky eye. Ooh, okay, okay. I'm actually here for that. Just gonna blend these two nicely in together, and I'm actually gonna take that on the outer corner of my eye as well, just to get as much of this on my eye as I can. And because it's not super metallic, it's going to blend nicely into the mattes. That looks really nice. I so often feel like shades like this that almost look like a matte with shimmer in it are so just useless, but I actually feel like the little shimmers and glitters are showing up in this, and I feel like you could probably even use this as a matte shade. Like if you really wanted to use it as like a black matte with shimmer, I think you could do that, because I could see that blending very, very nicely. But I think this is all I'm gonna do for the eyes. I do want to do something in my inner corner though, but I'm gonna find some kind of a highlighter to just pop in here, and then I'm gonna do some lashes and mascara and come back and show you the final look as well as the other looks that I've done. And I'm pretty impressed. Okay, I finished my look and I think it turned out really pretty. Me though, saying that I didn't want anything too dramatic on my lower lash line, and then I go in with a bunch of black. I don't know, it just happened. But I think it turned out really good. I really like this look. I think it is super fun. Let me go ahead and show you the other two looks that I've done with this palette as well, and just sort of give you my review of this. I would say I don't think that the mattes are my favorite mattes in my collection. I feel like they're a little bit on the thin side, but they are buildable to an extent. I haven't tried them as much as I would like to, so take this review, I guess, with a grain of salt. I've only done 3 looks and I haven't done that much building and blending in these looks, but I would rate this matte formula like a 6.5 out of 10, maybe something like that. Like they're totally usable. I don't have any problems with them, but when I'm using them, I feel like I'm doubting the process a little bit. Like, is this going to turn out good? Just because of the way that they're like applying and building and blending out. Like it doesn't feel foolproof. That could just be me though, but I've tried a lot of eyeshadows, you guys know that. I would say if you are interested in this palette, I wouldn't steer you away from getting it at all. I think that the mattes still perform fine, but I need more time with them to really understand this formula. I don't think it's going to become a favorite of mine, but I think they're totally fine. Their shimmers are absolutely stunning, but it depends what you're looking for in your shimmers. If you're not someone who likes that kind of chunky, flaky formula, bunch of multi-chromes, like some very special shades, this palette is not for you. But if you like that stuff, you're gonna love this. And like I said earlier, despite the shades being very creamy and flaky and a little bit on the chunky side, I didn't have any problems with wear time. And I tend to, a lot of the time, have a lot of creasing and fading with these kind of shades, but these actually performed really well on me, and I haven't had any issues with them. I mean, it's been a little bit of wear at the end of the day, but nothing, no more than I've had with like other brands, so I can't really say anything bad about these shimmers. I think they look stunning. They're really, really pretty, and I think the shades that they chose are so complementary to the mattes in this palette that it just makes this a really good color story. It's easy to use. It makes sense. I like actually that there are those kind of 3 different blacks in here because I feel like they're different enough that you can use them in different ways. The formulas are different. There's just a lot of fun to be had exploring this palette. It almost reminds me a little bit of an updated version of like a Natasha Denona palette in that there are so many different formulas within the palette, and you can use them all in different ways and combine them with each other to just have a fun experience playing with makeup. And I really enjoy this palette. I've had a really good time with it. Like I said, I'm very happy that I own it, and I can see myself using it again. I think it's really fun, and I'm excited to see what the brand does in the future. Let me know if you have this palette, if you've tried this. Some of you in the comments on Instagram said that you did buy it and you have been enjoying it, and I'm not surprised at all because this is really, really pretty, and I am excited to see what they do next because I hope they come out with something for spring that like they would make a really nice like pastel-y spring palette, I feel like, with some beautiful light like multi-chrome shimmers. Oh, it would be so pretty. So I hope they do something like that. That would be awesome. But yeah, I'm excited to have tried a new brand. I had a lot of fun with this and I'm glad I picked it up. So that's going to be it for today. If you want to see some more indie makeup content, I definitely have a playlist that I probably have not updated in a while. But I'll put that on the screen if you want to go watch it. If you're new, don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you in my next video.